You know, the laying on of hands is one of the oldest traditions in the church. And in the traditional form of the laying on of hands, one old, or maybe more than one, maybe several, one old minister comes forward and with great pomp and ceremony he lays his hands on the head of the kneeling ordinand. And when he does that, something that they like to call apostolic succession takes place, which means that the old guy who was now touching this person's head was touched by another old guy, and he was touched by an even older guy, and that guy was touched by somebody else. And that goes all the way back to the apostles, hence the title Apostolic Succession. However, it's not even true. But don't let them know that we know that. Don't burst their bubble for them. So anyway, we describe ourselves as the living tradition. And you know why we do that? Because like living things, we evolve as we know better. As the environment changes, we evolve. Just like Darwin said we did. And so we have evolved these traditions with strong historic basis to make them meaningful and contemporary for us. And so now we are going to perform the still powerful, the still ancient laying on of hands from a Unitarian Universalist perspective. And I'm going to begin, and I'm going to put my hands here on Ruth's shoulders, and I'm going to ask Shirley and John to come forward and lay their hands on Ruth's shoulders. Because these two have been there for everything. And they have loved and supported Ruth throughout all her times, good and bad. And then I'm going to ask, because we know if you were here for Brett's sermon this morning, we have congregational polity, and the power is in the congregation, not in the minister, not in the board, in the congregation. So I'm going to ask the board, as representatives of the congregation, to come forward and put their hands either on Ruth or on John and Shirley or me. Please do that, board members, at this time. And then I'm going to ask those colleagues and friends who have traveled from far distances, because our love of Ruth is so powerful that we want to be together with her on this important day. Colleagues and friends, would you please step forward and place your hand on Ruth or someone near her? And the future of our church is the young people, the children of this church. So if there are children in the audience, I only saw a couple, but if there are children in the congregation, please come forward and lay your hands on Ruth. Yes, please. Absolutely. She's the future of the Unitarian Universalist movement right here. And now, will those who have led the way, people who are longtime members of this congregation, people who may be unable to come forward, let's reach back and bring them into this line of power, into this network of power. Come forward if you're a longtime member. And if you are a member of this congregation, how long is a long time? You know. You've seen a few sides. You've been through a few controversies. Come forward. You didn't always agree, but you stayed at the table. You stayed together. And now will the rest of you who are members of this congregation please come forward and touch someone who is touching Ruth. And now I want all of you, as you touch one another, to feel the power that is surging in this direction. Ruth, do you feel the power of all these people loving you and improving your ministry and caring for you?
I do, and I need a little bit more.
Come on, let's hunker down, everybody. And let's just close our eyes for a moment and feel that surge of power and love moving towards Ruth and moving through all of us. Ruth, wherever and however you are called to serve, we would have you preach with your whole heart, speaking your truth with courage and wisdom. We would have you encourage spiritual growth, celebrate the principles of our faith, witness to the sorrows and injustices of these times, and serve with love and compassion. Ruth, you have touched our lives in many, many deep and powerful ways. With joy and pride, we acknowledge your call to ministry and affirm your study and preparation for this vocation. May your ministry nourish you and all those you serve. May you be a source, and may your ministry be a source of joy and comfort in this world. So let it be.